Welcome back to the den, everybody. Got your cackle leader here, Garcia. We got our I Heart social distancing face masks on. We are down here at the Bishamon sushi restaurant that we've been here before quite a few times. Today we are going to be trying the Bishamon sake, which they don't do a hot sake for. So we'll be doing a cold sake, a small cold sake first with the Sapporo beer. And we have video of our wonderful waitress serving the beer today.
Yeah, of course.
Actually, we have slight viscosity, and it's a very light style of beer. This is the Bishamon sake. We're on a outside dining experience because of everything that's going on currently. Everybody's dining outside and doing all that jazz. I'm gonna go ahead and order, and then I'll get all y'all back on. Oh, that is surprisingly smooth. So that's one thing that I do like about the Bishamon sake is you cannot get it hot, but it is a surprisingly smooth sake. It's like drinking silk, I want to say. And it has a slight sweet flavor to it. So it's an amazing sake. Again, it's kind of unfortunate that you can't get this at as a hot sake, but it's still pretty good. It is 15 to 16% alcohol by volume, which you can go ahead and see here on the back. I'm not entirely sure where it is brewed at. It looks like it's imported from Junmai Ginjo, which, you know, is cool. It has, again, the type of labels that I like, which is a very simple label, and it's textured kind of like, harkens to the Japanese rice paper days where they used to do a lot of rice paper for everything instead of the more industrial types papers. So I'd have to say currently it gets high marks, but again, since it doesn't come in a hot sake type manner, it's not really something that I can get 110% behind. But I'd definitely say this is a 60% of the time type of alcohol. Now let's see how it goes with the Sapporo. Now the Sapporo is a Japanese style beer. I'd say it'd be closer to the Budweisers of America, as that is their kind of standard beer. I usually get the large. This is their Sapporo Premium, and as you can see, it's a kind of a basic label. I don't want to say very Japanese, but it does look very, very Asian to me. Now it is sitting at, I think this is about 6% alcohol by volume. I'll go ahead and list down below what it actually is, because I'm not seeing it on the label here. Our spicy tuna hand roll here from Bishamon. We got more ginger, more wasabi. I should probably ask them not to bring out any more ginger or wasabi with the rest of the rolls, considering that I have a little stack going on here. Let's go ahead and move that. You can go ahead and see the rest of the wasabi there. But so a spicy tuna hand roll is eaten with your hands, all in all. But look at that. It's a beautiful roll you got there. I also kind of like the glass that they serve it in. Although I don't like the way that a lot of the Japanese glasses are glassware that is served is usually this very fragile, thin type glass, which if you use for sake bombs, which is when you place the chopsticks across the glass, food coming.
So I have the yellow cell, the uni, and the saba.
Fantastic. So back to it, the downside of the serving container like this is once the ice starts melting, it'll start pouring out of the container onto the table, which, I mean, it'll keep the sake cold, which is great, but the mess that it makes is kind of eh. So sitting in front of us now, we have the yellowtail, the uni, which is sea urchin, and then the saba, which is the mackerel. And all these are amazing. Now what I like to do is I like to go ahead and eat one just as is first. This Bishamon hot sake is pretty good. And I have to say, very refreshing. Next up we have the uni, which again is the sea urchin. Now this is an acquired one. Me personally, I absolutely love it. Now, finding the saba, or good saba, good mackerel, is a little difficult. And this is one of the few places that I quite much enjoy getting the saba from. Well, let's see how the sea urchin tastes with this Bishamon sake here. So the slight sweetness of the Bishamon hot sake, or the Bishamon sake, goes, I think, pairs quite well with the saltiness of the sea urchin. Go ahead and pour the rest of that into our chiller there and place that back down. But I love the way that the boldness of the Sapporo kind of balances out the slight sweetness of this. All right, let's try it, just normal. That is amazing. Like I said, the saba, the mackerel they get here, is absolutely amazing every time. Every single time I come here. No, see? And again, the mackerel just by itself is already a bit on the salty side, and the fish that they get here is extremely fresh. So you definitely get the taste of the freshness of the ocean with it. And then the slight sweetness of the Bishamon sake with the boldness of the Sapporo, just, it blends perfectly. This is very smooth, and I think this is just about what you need. So if you're ever at a Bishamon in whatever city you're in, if you can find a Bishamon, then go ahead and try their homebrew here of the sake. It's smooth, it doesn't have a mean bite to it, and it's quite much enjoyable. And if you're going to go ahead and get this, I highly recommend the saba or the uni. Both of those are fantastic.
There you go.
Thank you very much, miss. So just as she said, this is the chutoro, which is, again, the fatty tuna. And as you can see, we're going to go ahead and grab it without dropping it. As you can see, it's a very fibrous, very fatty piece of tuna, which is absolutely amazing. Now again, now if you've liked tuna and you've never had chutoro, definitely try to get it. It's too goddamn good not to have any. Now this is the bluefin, which is different than the chutoro, which is the fatty tuna. Now the Bluefin tuna, there is an absolutely amazing cut of fish. There's absolutely nothing wrong with it, but it definitely doesn't have the succulent flavor that the Chutoro has, which again is the fatty tuna. But that'd be comparing a ribeye to a Wagyu, which are two completely different types of steaks. You know, an FDA fucking ribeye to a Wagyu ribeye is completely different. So I highly recommend trying both. The Bishamon sake goes best with, I would say, the bluefin than the Chutoro, because the Chutoro can stand alone. This dining outside experience kind of makes it hard to do anything. So if you end up at a Bishamon, try to Sapporo paired with the Bishamon. But if you're going to get the Bishamon sake, definitely try the Saba or the Uni, which are a saltier delicacy, which go really well with the sweetness of the Bishamon sake. And that's all we have for you.